Hello, everyone. Gary Ray's Remax Integrity, and I'm here with my friend Tim Tyler, who of Supreme Lending. And by golly, we're going to fill you in on what's happening here in the early parts of May. We're going to first compare. We're going to compare between May of this year and May of last year, just to kind of give you an idea how things have changed. And then we're going to go from the last month to this month and give you a better idea of what's happening as well. So, Tim, I know from your perspective, you're busier than can be.
We are. We've definitely ramped up the production.
And a lot of that has to do with, I think, a lot of consumers realizing the interest rate's really not going to move much one way or the other at this point in time.
That's correct.
And so people want to basically move on with their dreams. School is now getting close to being out, so there's going to be a lot of activity here in the next few months, I would suspect.
Yes, there will.
So, and I want to talk to you here in a minute about strategies that you might think of for your clients. First, I'll talk about, again, how is this month compared to a month ago, or excuse me, a year ago at this time. So right now we're up almost 20% more people putting their house on the market now than they did a year ago at this time. So that's significant. Also, as far as pendings and this type of thing, we're up about 12% from last year at this time. So you can tell how things have picked up of recent. I want to talk a little bit about inventory. When I say we have so many months of inventory, that means that if nobody puts a new house on the market, it takes X amount of time for all the houses to go away, be purchased by people. Well, we're now up to 2.4 months. Now, in the perfect world, it would take 6 months of inventory. That's where the buyer and the seller are on equal terms. There's as many buyers as there are sellers, and so 6 months. We're at 2.4 months. But wait, there's more. 2 years ago, we were only at 0.7 of 1 month. In other words, we just didn't have any inventory. So things have improved much, increased much better for us. And especially if you're a purchaser, you have more properties to choose from. And remember how the feeding frenzy, I got to get my offer in, and 10 people continue to all put their offers in on the same properties, one after that another. In other words, there was a lot of overbidding that went on. The problem, I'll talk a little bit about overbidding. When you win because you have overbid, you've beat out everybody else. That means that you were willing to pay more than everybody else.
That's right.
So it's like an auction. Are you really getting a good deal? So my point is, be careful when you get into that situation. The only reason today to overbid is if you are obviously bidding against somebody else, but you just love the property, and money is not nearly as important as the satisfaction of owning that home. You don't have to beat out everybody just to get the home in today's world, because we have so much better amount of homes that are out there to choose from. Now, now I'm going to compare last month to this month, and because these just came out a couple of days ago, so it's still hot off the press, I tell you. So the new listings are up about 13% over last month. So that, of course, the weather has changed, and you can imagine people are out there. Pending sales were up 10% over last year, or excuse me, over last month.
Over last month.
The average sale price, this is what I like. The median sale price has only gone up 1%.
Yeah.
I like that. We need to keep these prices down. You have a fighting chance for everybody. The total market time, again, we have from inventory, but yet the time on the market is down 11 days. So now it takes about 60 days from the start of the time that you put it on the market till the time it closes. So that's good news for those that are in a hurry. So saying all of that, let's talk about what can a client do if they're looking for all the different ways to finance that house. I know you've got I'll use the word, not tricks, strategies.
Strategies, absolutely. Well, there's all kinds of different buy down strategies. I mean, interest rates are still high compared to what they've been in recent years. So a lot of people are looking for relief initially, trying to get their mortgage payment down a little bit lower. So we offer different buy down options.
Okay, and again, I'm going to assume that some of our listeners don't really know what you mean by the word buy down.
No, exactly. Yeah. So what that means is that there's permanent rate buy downs. That means that you pay a little bit more money
up front
in points in order to buy down that rate a quarter of a point. Let's say 1% of the loan amount is what it takes to buy down the interest rate 1/4%. So you have to look at that and map it out and see if that makes sense.
If I'm the type of consumer that stays in a home for just a couple of years, is the buy down a smart plan?
Not the permanent rate buy down.
Okay, but if I want to live there for 7 or 8 years, is that a better
yes
plan?
Then you look at the cost and how much the monthly savings is. And usually 3 years or more is what we're looking for as far as a break even
Okay.
period, cost versus
so if you're going to be
savings
in there for more than 3 years, basically the buy down makes financial sense.
It does, and that's the permanent buy down. There's also a temporary rate buy down, which at Supreme we actually do offer a temporary rate buy down that doesn't cost the seller or the buyer anything on all government loans, which are FHA and VA and USDA loans. We will buy that rate down 1 full percentage point. So let's say today's rate was 7.25, then they would get that 6 1/4 rate for 2 full years.
That's impressive.
Which is really impressive.
Yes.
And then within that 2-year period, we have to weigh out what the rates are going to be then and see if it makes sense to refinance at that time.
Here's a strategy that I've heard about, and clarify for me and the listeners. I understand, let's pretend that you're a vet. You don't have a lot of money in the house, but you have to move, but you've got that rate.
Yeah.
Can another person come in and maybe even pay that person a little more money to absorb or assume that lower rate that vet has?
Yes. So that's true with VA loans and FHA loans.
Yes.
Those are the only loans that are assumable.
Yep.
So yes, that can happen. What the biggest problem with that we've seen is that a lot of times the loan amount is too low compared to what the purchase price is. So they have to come in with a lot more cash.
Yes.
In order to make that work.
Well, that's why when I said if they've only owned the home for 2 or 3 years, it makes sense.
Then the loan amount's pretty high and compared to what the sale price is.
Yes. So at this point in time, I guess you're going to be busier than busy.
Yeah.
And so it's probably wise for somebody to make an appointment with you, even if they're planning not to sell till several months later.
Yes.
It's still important to get an appointment with you right away.
Absolutely. Then we can get you
strategize
completely pre-approved. So when you find that perfect home and you want to make an offer, we can write that pre-approval letter right on the spot and get you right in line to make that offer and make that house your own.
From the real estate side, we appreciate that because when there's a delay of a day or two, that could cost the buyer some problems because other people then have a chance to get in and make an offer before you can get yours finalized.
Yeah,
and so
absolutely.
To do that ahead of time, it seems very smart.
Right.
So here's the situation here in May. We're just the beginning of May. Things are heating up. Chances are, because of the increased amount of volume of properties that are now coming onto the market, this is a great time to start that shopping, get it done, especially if they have children, because you're already settled by the time school starts next year.
Right.
So that's my little spiel as far as urgency. Because we don't think the interest rates are really going to change much.
No.
And so.
No, we don't.
So at this point in time, Tim, do you have anything more that you'd like to add?
I think the only thing that I would probably expound on a little bit is the pre-approval again. So you can get a pre-approval with us that is fully underwritten. So the only thing that has to be approved are the title work, title policy, title with the title insurance, and then also the appraisal.
But
so the property and the title is the only thing that needs to be underwritten.
And the title is done through escrow, by the way. So that's not something you have to research.
No.
It's simply the escrow. That's part of their job, is to
Right.
look at all the things that have happened in the past and to ensure to the buyer that they are purchasing a home that has clear title.
Exactly right. So the point is that so you can get your loan. So you're fully credit approved. Your income has been approved. Your assets, everything's all ready to go. So what that means is when you do find a house, you can do a very quick closing. I mean, we can do it like in 2 weeks.
That's another big advantage, by the way, that there's been many years when it's taken 2 months to close on a home. And that's with all the anxiety that goes on with purchasing and selling a home. That 2-week thing is a very, very nice thing to have an advantage. You bet it is. So anyway, so I guess my last point is, if you need to contact Tim, get a hold of him. His number's on the bottom of the screen. And if you need to get a hold of me for any answers, it doesn't cost you a dime. We'll take care of that as well. So until then, Tim Tyler of Supreme Mortgage, Gary Reyes of RE/MAX Integrity. We'll see you next month.
See you next month.